Hey guys, it's Alexa. Today we're going to be looking at Discord components. We're going to get buttons and selects into our Discord bot. And we're going to do this using an external library called Discord Components, since the dicord.py library that we've been using for all of my tutorials thus far does not currently support Discord components, so we're going to have to use another library to do this. But you'll see that the libraries integrate pretty smoothly. So I have some code here. The first thing we're going to do is, of course, import Discord. We're also going to import Discord_components, which is the third-party library that we're going to be using. From here, we want to import Discord components, components bot, button, select option, and select, or you could just import everything. We also want to import commands, which is part of, again, the Discord.py library, but we're making a command bot, so we're going to need to import those. If you need help installing Discord or any of these libraries, check out my other videos. Actually, I don't have a video on installing Discord components, but I will leave a link in the description to the official documentation, which will show you how to install Discord components. You can do it through pip if you're familiar with that. Anyways, let's move on. So again, we have to set up the client, which is pretty normal. We set up client the same way how we used to do it with the normal Discord.py library. So we say client equals commands.bot, and then we put in our command prefix. What we also have to do is pass client in to this function Discord components, and this just allows sort of the two libraries to connect. Now the Discord components library has access to our client, which is our bot. Next, what we're going to look at is sending a message with button components. And we're going to involve some attributes and receive this button interaction. So I created a command, called it hello, passed in ctx as always, and to use components, it's actually quite simple. All we need to do is use the .send method that's in our normal Discord.py library. But what the Discord components library allows us to do is it allows us to pass in this other argument, components, which can be set equal to an array. So here we have the regular message that's going to send in the message, so hello is going to send. And we also have inside of here components. So as you can see, I have a button. And inside of this button function, there's a few arguments. We have label, which is going to be obviously the text on the button, style, which is a number ranging from 1 through 5, an integer, and it denotes certain colors or certain styles of the button. You can read the Discord developer documentation to see which integers correspond to the different colors of a button, different styles. We can also add an emoji to our button, which I obviously did. Who doesn't want an emoji on their button? And this part is probably the most important. We need a custom ID for our button. This is going to allow us to be able to track when our button is clicked and do something with that code. If we want to add another button, all we have to do is put a comma and then add it in here. So again, same attributes, I just changed the values. Now the reason this button, these two buttons are inside of this other array, so you can see these brackets at the end, we actually have an array, the components array, and then inside of the components array we have another array, which is housing these buttons. So we have a 2D array, that's what it's called. And this makes sure that the buttons are aligned side by side. So one button will be on the left and one button will be on the right. If we remove these brackets, the second pair of brackets, then the buttons are going to be aligned top to bottom. So there will be one button on top, and below that button, there will be the second button. So let's test this code. I'm quickly going to run this, and I'm going to go into Discord. Alright, so our bot's online. Let's try out this command. So we can say hello. Now we get a message. So this is our message content, hello, and then we have a green button that says hi and a red button that says bye. So I'm actually not going to press these yet. Actually, I'll press the right button because I know that this doesn't have an interaction set to it. So when I press this button, it's going to load for a bit. And then what it does, it says this interaction failed. This is because we have not set an interaction to this button. We've created the button, but we haven't set up an interaction for it. So let's go back to our code and see how we do that. So creating an interaction is pretty simple. We can create a variable, set that equal to await client.waitFor, and this function is going to wait for a specific event to happen. So in this case, we're looking for a button click. And once we wait for a button click, we want to check to make sure which button we're pressing. So this is where the custom ID comes into play. So what this check equals lambda thing does is that it searches through every button that the code currently, or that the bot has access to, and then from there it'll find the one with the custom ID equal to button 1, because that's the button we want to set the interaction for. If you wanted to set the interaction for button 2, you would obviously replace this with button 2. Simple enough. Alright. So once we have this interaction object, we can do some cool things with it. So we can say await interaction.send, and then we can say the content, which again is just the message content, button clicked, so that's going to send that message. And we can also set this argument here. I'm definitely not pronouncing this right, but it's something like ephemeral, yeah, an ephemeral message or something like that. But what this means is that, I'll show you in a bit, but it means that the message is not a normal message in Discord. It's one of those messages that you can dismiss, and it's only seen by the user that clicked the button. So by default, this is actually set to true in for sending with the interaction object, but we're just going to set it to true again just to show you that it's actually there, even though it is implicitly defined. So going back, let's try this again. We can say hello, and let's click the hi button. Say hi, and it says button clicked. So as you can see here, we have this type of message that Discord sends. It says only you can see this, and you can dismiss this message. So there, it's gone. Now let's try and click this hi button again. It's gonna say interaction failed. And this is because if we go back to our code, so let's say we run this command, it goes through here, it sends this, and then it waits for this interaction to happen. Once it happens, it sends this, the message, and then it leaves this whole command. This command is done with. So if we try to click the button again without calling the hello command, it's not going to do anything. So we'll figure out how to fix that in just a second. The code down below, actually, I'm going to show you how. But just to show you what a regular message would be, you can change this to false, save it. Let's reset this. And go back. Alright, we're going to say hello. And we shall say hi. Now this message is a real message. Anyone on the server can see this. You can't dismiss it. So that's the difference between those two messages. Moving on. The next command we're going to use, we are going to use to send a select component. So a select is like a dropdown with multiple options that you can select, which is why it's called a select. And we're going to receive this interaction, and we're going to learn how to scan for an interaction in a while loop so that we can click it multiple times. So again, we're creating our command. Let's call it select. And here we're going to use send again. We'll say select. And the components for this are going to be a bit different. We're going to use the select component, which has an attribute of placeholder. So we'll say select something. That's going to be what shows on the select or drop down bar when the user doesn't click it yet. And then we have another attribute called options, and this can be set equal to an array of select options. So select options have these attributes. I'm sure they have more attributes. All of these functions that I'm showing you, the select, the button, they have more attributes, but these are just the main important ones. If you want to see all of their attributes, definitely look at the Discord components documentation. I will link that in the description. Anyway, we can give our select a label and a value. Now, scanning for this interaction is pretty cool when we use a while loop. So when we say while true, this basically means we're going to run this till something happens. And we're going to use a try except. So we're going to try to await or wait for a select option interaction. And when we get that interaction, we're going to send the value of the select. So whatever the value is here that I clicked is selected, and we're also going to set this to false. You can set it to either or. And if this doesn't work out, then we're going to send some error message. This is not a valid error message, but I didn't want to think too hard about it. Anyway, let's try this. So going back, we'll say select. Now we have our nice looking select. That's pretty cool. Drop down, and we get a drop down. So let me select A. We're going to get a message saying that A is selected. Now watch this. When we try to select B, it's going to say B selected. So right now we are inside of that while loop, always scanning. And we can keep doing this on and on, to be honest. So both of those functionalities are important. If you only want the user to click the button once, then don't use a while loop. If you want the user to be able to change their answer, then you may have to consider using a structure like this. Alright, that's it for the components. I haven't seen you guys in a long time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll try to get to posting more. I've been swamped with college applications and stuff like that, but we're gonna get through it, and I'm so happy to be back here making videos. Anyway, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, join my Discord server. All will be linked in the description. So thank you very much. Bye, guys.